Hello, my name's Helen Johnson. I'm one of the foundation school directors that work with UKFPO, and today I'm helping with the curriculum resources for our fantastic new curriculum, and we're going to talk about how we support inclusion and equity in the foundation education and training programme. Next slide, please. So this shows some of our lovely foundation doctors throughout the country, and we're so excited that you're going to join us as lovely doctors, and our educational supervisors, you help us supervise, and the vast array of different doctors with different talents that we get through the programme. Next slide, please. So obviously all doctors matter, and we want to support all of our foundation doctors, and our new curriculum is going a long way towards doing that and taking it forward into a sort of 21st century approach. And this short presentation is going to support the rollout of that new curriculum. This does support our educational clinical supervisors, but our trainees might find it useful too, and it's going to help us support all of our foundation doctors and to encourage and promote inclusivity and equity within the foundation school and beyond. It will talk about our UKFPO commitment to this and how some doctors need a more tailored approach, and it will provide some suggestions to you on how to promote equity and inclusivity as the norm in your trust and your management. Next slide, please. All doctors matter, but we can still offer tailored and bespoke support. I think I'd like to be really clear always that actually I advocate for all foundation doctors and all doctors matter, but it is also widely recognised that doctors from particular backgrounds can be disadvantaged because of the systemic barriers and social inequity that exist. And this can be true of doctors with protected characteristics, those that have entered medicine via widening access arrangements, and those that have trained in non-UK medical schools, and also those that are working perhaps less than full time. They can all find that it is more difficult to gain their footing in our hospital settings. And the UKFPO are absolutely committed to reducing differential attainment and supporting the widening participation agenda and supporting flexible working as dedicated through the People's Plan. So the UKFPO has embarked on a programme to better understand the needs of these diverse foundation doctors and to provide the relevant support to those with protected characteristics. So from your perspective, the groups that might be considered to fit within this scope are those covered by the Equality Act 2020 or equivalent. So this covers age, disability, gender reassignment, marriage and civil partnerships, pregnancy, maternity, race, religion or belief, sex and sexual orientation. And those that have entered medicine via a widening participation agenda, international medical graduates, doctors with caring responsibilities and doctors training less than full time. And so if you're interested in this, I'd highly recommend that you go to the GMC's report, which is Fair Training Pathways for All by Wolf in 2016, which is largely about the difficulties faced by BAME doctors and those whose primary medical qualification was obtained overseas. But it does provide examples of many of the difficulties faced by many of our doctors, even if they don't overtly have obvious differing needs. And I would suggest that we look at all of that and consider how we're going to apply that to our foundation doctors. And there does need to be a respectful balance between that culture of openness and respecting the privacy of the individual. I think we need to remember that we can ask questions to help, but we shouldn't have an expectation of a sharing response. Next slide, please. So what is the risk of doing nothing at the moment? Well, we've probably all heard the news from the Royal College of Surgeons in particular. They've been quite brave and had an external review of how they managed diversity and equity and showed that it wasn't as great as they'd like it to be, and so they're changing it. But also we know that there are real issues in our health force across the NHS, in that 21% of our staff might be BME, but only 10% of our trust board members are, and so we're not really reflecting the wide diversity of experience and cultural issues and really the joy of working in that multi-professional, multi-ethnic, diverse team that we all share on the coal floor face, on the shop floor, and making this the place that we want to work for everybody. So here I've put a few things from the national perspective on why we want to improve race equality. But this talk isn't just about race, it's all about diversity. Next slide, please. So our UKFPO commitment is in the new curriculum. I'm not going to read through this slide, and I'm sure you will read the curriculum itself, but basically the UKFPO took externality and a review, particularly from the Academy of the Medical Royal College's statement on race inequality, and took this to heart, and we based all of our curriculum around making sure that it is inclusive and it's supportive of our trainee diversity. That we clearly state that we have an expectation of equitable treatment of all foundation doctors, and that reasonable adjustments can be made to enable our foundation doctors to achieve their capabilities and be the best doctor that they can be. Next slide, please. So the UKFPO has a role in this, and our role is to share best practice from the different foundation schools and across the different foundation trusts. So we have this UKFPO welcome webinar that we're going to be putting on in August for our trainees. Foundation schools also have their own welcome webinars and meetings for their foundation trainees. There are presentations and resources aimed at supervisors that we'll be storing nationally for you. And there are also the mentoring schemes that are now part of the foundation charter, that not only perhaps should we do a mentoring scheme between our normal approach to foundation doctors, but also to look at those that have been perhaps international medical graduates or doctors with differing abilities that can then be a mentor for new starters to help them get the best from their programme. We're going to be uploading a number of how-to type videos and resources on the UKFPO website and to the HE-TEL Learning Hub. Next slide, please. So equity and inclusivity for foundation doctors, all doctors have concerns with many issues that we're going to be talking about, but doctors from less traditional backgrounds into medicine may feel some of these more acutely or have additional concerns. And we want to recognise that all doctors have perspectives and experiences that are valuable both in their role as doctors, but also as educational leaders. This pluripotential nature of our foundation doctors is really beneficial for trust systems and patients. And by recognising the benefits of diversity, we can fully support all of our trainees and just do better. And the drive towards inclusivity in the medical workforce is really about that social justice agenda. We want to provide the right support for all newly qualified doctors and invest in our talent pool for the future. So to properly implement this, we need to value and encourage diversity and reach a state where we have normalised that culture of openness and inclusiveness about the backgrounds of doctors who enter our training programmes. It should become business as usual for us, and this good support will aid development and help our foundation doctors fulfil their potential. Next slide, please. So, having done the talk about what UKFPO is doing and our hopes and aspirations behind this, how can you help us? Well, obviously, firstly, by being up to date with training and aware of the issues, and most of you will have done equality and diversity training, and all those supervising foundation doctors must be up to date with this. But there are other training packages out there. Some of them are around raising awareness of differential attainment in some of our groups. Some of them are around supporting our international medical graduates, and both through the GMC and a variety of our Royal Colleges. So some of our foundation doctors from differing backgrounds, including some of those that entered medical training via widening participation schemes or with certain health needs, may need additional support with certain parts of the training programme. And you as our clinical and educational supervisors are the people that are going to notice this first and are also best placed to help support our foundation trainees. So our supervisors, we hope, should actively seek to support trainees, particularly in these groups, and consider additional face-to-face meetings to ensure our trainees are progressing against the curriculum and also helping if they're not. We'd like you to help us advocate and develop deanery and trust systems of support, share what works well for you and your best practice. And although your foundation school may already provide additional support to some of these groups of entrants, you might want to help them in doing that. You might want to promote new thoughts. You might want to help coordinate just in your trust or across the deanery, or find that this is a passion of yours that you want to take further. So please talk to us if that's the case. Next slide, please. So if we think about the practicalities of offering support, we all know that induction is our first and best chance to make those links with our trainees. So please try and meet your trainee as early as possible, ideally if you can in that preparation for practice week. Some regions do an additional shadowing period for international medical graduates, and if that's the case, it'd be handy to meet them even earlier. Use the STEP form if available to inform your decision, or ask your FTPD if there are any issues on STEP forms that you should be aware about for your trainees so that you can offer that best support. Know and offer your local resources to trainees. So who is the wellbeing champion in your trust? What is the guardian of safe working? Have you got inclusivity champions or reps either in the foundation school or the trust? And what are your networking and mentorship opportunities? When you meet the trainee, it's always best to actually ask what support they might find helpful. And I tend to do this for all trainees, even if it's particularly important for trainees that may be feeling slightly overwhelmed. And the first is, do you have any specific concerns around starting the foundation programme or accessing the support you might need? Very straightforward question, may open a floodgate of queries afterwards. How can I help you, and signpost the support we have available at the Trust and the Deanery? And are there any issues outside of work I can help with? We always look at that last one with a bit of an eye of concern. Many of us feel that we might not be able to support all of those issues that it might raise, but what we are actually good at is signposting people to the right person that might be able to support those going forward. We're not suggesting that you have all the answers, but that you're the person that might be best to open those discussions. Foundation doctors often think that the support that is on offer is strictly about work and training, and so may be less inclined to bring up issues outside work that we know impact on work. And so there's a lot of literature that shows that simple things like securing accommodation, opening bank accounts, or getting children settled in schools can be a really big deal, particularly for our international medical graduates. And this might take up a real big proportion of their starting work with us, so that they don't engage fully at the start and then struggle to catch up. So having an open and honest discussion about what else is going on can help target really our expectations. Where appropriate, ask around recognising those different cultural and religious days, so the trainees know that they can actually request annual leave on special days such as Eid. And also, how might this impact on work, and thinking in advance that we do have prayer rooms, for example, that we could offer, and what are our reasonable adjustments around this as a trust. Think about the wider support roles that trainees might have. They may have carer roles, they may have children, and these might also impact on work, and what reasonable adjustments or support might be explored to help them do that pick up occasionally at nursery if it finishes sooner. And remember, for those with a health concern, the supportive roles of occupational health in providing and tailoring those reasonable adjustments, but also going back to those reasonable adjustments with that trainee and saying, so are they working? Is this enough for you to be able to show your best potential at work, or do we need to change it? So it's an ongoing dialogue we're looking for. So you can see we're looking to support all foundation doctors to flourish in the workplace by asking these opening questions. You may not be able to directly help, as I said before, but having that opening coaching conversation and signposting will really make a big impact to our trainees coming in. Next slide, please. So obviously you might now think that you need to go for more information and training to help support this. And at the moment, with unconscious bias and differential attainment in particular, there's no national consensus on what this training might include. But most deaneries are starting to offer training on unconscious bias and differential attainment. They're starting to offer more training really around thinking more holistically about training trainees and how to support those trainees that have additional needs. They might be calling it trainees in difficulty. It might be organised through your professional support and wellbeing unit at the deanery, and your trust itself might have those kind of training days on offer for you. So talk to your FTPD and your Director of Medical Education. Next slide, please. So the UKFPO, clearly, like many others, is continuing to research in that area so that we can see what the best practice is, and so that we can help make our trainees' experience as best as we possibly can do. And that's sometimes around the allocation of posts. It's around looking at how our medical school graduates progress through training, and it's looking at the impact of widening access to medicine. You may well have some research in this field if you're an educator as well, or you might find yourself impassioned to want to go ahead with medical education in this field. So talk through again with your FTPD and FSD around how you can be part of this voice. Next slide, please. So I've done a lot of impassioned talking to you. As you can see, that this is clearly something that I find is really valuable to my well-being, to know that I'm doing the best possible thing I can by our trainees and being an advocate of change. And from this, we're all looking forward to all the different aspects of our new foundation curriculum. So I hope this presentation has been very helpful about the area that I'm feeling currently passionate about. But the new foundation curriculum on the whole, as I said, is very excellent. Please look through it and look at the other slides, fact sheets and webinars that are available to you, and share your good practice on supporting all of our foundation doctors. So enjoy the rest of the presentations, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.